Man, the Harris family just got turned inside out, and this ain't the type of storm you can sweep under the rug. It all went sideways when some private, seriously controversial photos allegedly tied to Harris T's son hit the net like a lightning strike. Within minutes, socials exploded. Fans, haters, and everybody in between dove headfirst into the chaos. And those pics, way too raw, bold as hell, and definitely the kind of thing you'd never want to see plastered across a timeline. The web wasted 0 seconds reacting. People were shocked, confused, and flat-out furious. King tried to stay chill, move low-key, but the noise just kept rising like sirens in the night. Then the real shocker dropped. Word on the block is T.I. himself made a move colder than ice. Sources whisper he straight up disowned his own son, cut ties completely, and didn't just do it behind closed doors. He did it for the whole world to see. Yep, the same man who built his name rapping about loyalty and family values might have just slammed the door on his own bloodline. That twist had everybody asking, how did it explode this far, and why did it cut this deep? Let's break down the craziest family scandal rocking hip-hop right now. Because let's be honest, the Harris clan wasn't just any family. They were hip-hop royalty, rich, respected, and solid like steel, until it all started cracking in front of our eyes. T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, wasn't just celebrated for his bars or business moves. People loved him for being that family man with Tiny from the R&B group Xscape by his side. Together, they built a blended squad full of bold, loud, ambitious kids who kept shining on reality TV, always smiling like the picture-perfect unit. But behind the cameras, things weren't nearly as sweet as they looked. That shiny family image is now getting torn to pieces thanks to a chain of scandals tied to their son, King Harris. What started as a few messy Instagram lives with King clowning around snowballed into a full-blown internet circus. From public meltdowns to reckless behavior, his name kept trending, but never for anything good. The tipping point came when those extra personal photos allegedly linked to him hit the net. The second they started circulating, social media went feral. People didn't just drag King, they came for his mama and daddy too. Overnight, T.I. and Tiny went from being praised as model parents to being slammed as the ones who failed him. And while the internet was roasting them nonstop, insiders whispered the real drama inside their household was even uglier. T.I., already worn out from King's past antics, finally hit his breaking point. One insider even spilled, "This ain't the first L, but it might just be the last one." And just when you thought the scandal couldn't hit a new level, boom! King popped out with news of a baby with an older woman known online as Big Nana. Instead of congratulations, people were giving him the side eye like crazy. Rumors started flying fast. Some swore the pregnancy was just a smokescreen, others said it was nothing but a clout-chasing stunt, and then came the whispers. Maybe King wasn't even the real father. That's when one viral TikTok flipped everything upside down, showing a supposed DNA test leak claiming King wasn't the dad at all. Social media lost its mind. Theories, memes, think pieces, everybody had their own take. Fans started questioning if the baby drama was just a cover-up. What was King really hiding? T.I. and Tiny tried staying silent, but that didn't last long. Tiny clapped back on the gram with a family pic, proudly showing the baby and calling all the rumors nothing but clickbait. Then King's sister, Zonique Pullins, jumped in on Twitter throwing shade, writing, "What aisle y'all find this tea on?" But even with all that drama, the internet wasn't buying the happy family picture one bit. People swore something bigger was bubbling under the surface, especially when that old clip of T.I.'s face hearing King's baby news started going viral again. He didn't look proud at all. He looked straight up spooked, like he already knew some storm was about to hit. And then, to make things even messier, old shady comments from Kodak Black about the Harris clan started resurfacing, adding more fuel to the fire. Back in 2019, when tensions between T.I. and Kodak were peaking, Kodak hopped on IG Live and came out swinging with reckless energy. He went off, throwing out harsh insults, including wild, homophobic shots aimed at T.I.'s sons. At the time, most folks brushed it off as typical rap beef, Kodak being reckless as usual. But now, with King's leaked pics out there and all these whispers about his so-called hidden lifestyle, people are starting to wonder, was Kodak just trolling? Or did he actually know something years ago? Could that shade have been a warning dressed up as trash talk? The internet has been losing sleep trying to connect the dots. Did the Harris family see this train wreck coming? Were they already scrambling behind the scenes, setting up distractions before the truth dropped? Suddenly, that whole baby shower and those cutesy maternity pics look less like family bonding and more like a PR stunt. Especially now that questions about whether King is even the father still won't die down. To plenty of fans, this is smelling less like support and more like damage control. Between the DNA whispers, them leaked photos, and Kodak's old words coming back to haunt the Harris name, this saga is looking far from over. And for those who don't know the roots of T.I. versus Kodak, trust, this beef runs deep. It all started in 2019 when Kodak crossed the line making disrespectful comments about Lauren London right after Nipsey Hussle passed. T.I., being the loud voice of the culture, clapped back instantly and demanded he apologize. And the battle's been brewing ever since. Kodak didn't just clap back, he went straight for the jugular. He doubled down and took things way past music or jabs at T.I.'s wife, aiming straight at the kids, especially King. And these weren't playful shots either. They cut deep. Back then, most people brushed it off as Kodak being his usual reckless, disrespectful self. But now, with everything swirling around King, the leaked pics, the rumors, the chaos, Kodak's words feel way too specific to be random shade. When you line up the timeline, it's downright eerie. Kodak threw them darts years before this scandal storm even started. And the way he said it, almost like he knew something the rest of us didn't, got people spooked. This don't feel like ordinary rap beef anymore. It feels like he was hinting at insider whispers before they ever hit the public. And here's the kicker. When T.I. fired back at Kodak, he didn't even touch the low blows about his sons. His whole diss track was about pride, legacy, ego, but not a single bar defending his boys. That silence has folks second-guessing now. Was it strength, or was it strategy? Like maybe T. I was already working overtime to keep family skeletons locked away before the closet door got kicked open for real. Fast forward to 2025, and King Harris's name is ringing for all the wrong reasons. Leaked photos, whispers about a double life, messy paternity rumors. It's spiraling, and fast. And then King went and dropped a bombshell of his own. In one raw confession, he told the world that whole, perfect family life you saw on T.I. and Tiny. The family hustle was fake. He claimed they'd scoop him up from his grandma's house just to film the show, then send him right back when the cameras cut off. That single confession cracked the entire family image wide open. The so-called tight unit wasn't as close as viewers thought. King revealed he was really raised more by his grandma than by the rap mogul and R&B queen everyone saw smiling on screen. And while grandma clearly gave him love, raising a kid under that much spotlight with little full-time parental guidance, that's a recipe for scars no reality TV could ever hide. That's a whole different kind of struggle, and honestly, it explains why King's been spiraling out lately. Like that wild video where he made a homeless man do the one-chip challenge just for clout, people were heated. Or that viral corner store meltdown where he snapped on a worker for no reason. Then you got those expensive veneers that had the internet roasting him non-stop. And let's not forget the time he randomly called out the late rapper Julio for a boxing match. That one had everybody scratching their heads. Some swore it was just for attention, while others thought it was flat-out reckless, especially in a culture where rap beefs can turn deadly real quick. Piece by piece, it paints a picture of a young dude trapped between fame, chaos, and his own identity. At this point, King could sneeze at a gas station and it'd go viral. But nothing topped that NFL game meltdown. What should have been a chill day with his pops turned into straight madness. King started barking at fans, puffing out his chest, screaming about how he was standing on business. And when things got way too heated, T.I. had no choice but to put his own son in a headlock just to calm him down. That clip blew up instantly, not just because it was wild, but because of what it represented without a single word. A father literally wrestling his son back into reality, not just parenting, but doing damage control live and in high definition. That headlock photo became a symbol. T.I. trying to hold down a son who was completely spinning out of control. It showed just how far King had drifted from the polished legacy his parents spent years building. And just when it looked like the fam might chill out for a minute, boom! King gets arrested. Cops reportedly caught weed in his car, and suddenly he's got a mugshot added to the collection. The timing couldn't have been worse. Literally days before he dropped a music video where he was flexing guns and talking heavy street talk. For a dude already under the celeb microscope, that wasn't edgy. That was reckless to the core. Meanwhile, T.I.'s out here looking all kinds of conflicted. 1 minute posting proud "that's my son" energy, the next clearly drained from trying to rein him back in. He's young, still learning, and yeah. Ty tries to show him love in public. But behind closed doors, that patience been ran out. How many times can you tell the world he's just going through a phase before folks stop believing it? But here's the thing. This ain't just about viral meltdowns and reckless choices. This is the story of a kid growing up under crushing pressure, carrying a last name that's heavier than privilege. King didn't have that steady day-to-day parenting other kids get to keep them grounded. While T.I. and Tiny were chasing the fame bag, locked in studios and living life on camera, it was Grandma holding it down emotionally at home. That boy was basically riding solo, learning life through trial and error. What happens when a kid is famous before he even understands what fame is? You get someone trying to move like a grown man by 16, just because the world expected it. That's why his clapbacks online hit so raw. When King snapped back saying, "If I'm the ugliest person in the world, what that make you?" That wasn't just a joke. That was pain talking, frustration spilling out. It sounded like somebody who'd been judged way more than he'd ever been loved, picked apart more than he'd been guided. And maybe that's the real tragedy hiding underneath the chaos. A cry for help that keeps getting drowned out by TMZ headlines and Twitter noise. Because now, with whispers about paternity drama, rumors about his private life, and speculation that T.I. and Tiny are stepping back for PR reasons, the distance between father and son is impossible to ignore. So the real question is T.I. pulling away just to save his image, or is he really a heartbroken father who doesn't know how to reach his son anymore? Either way, the cracks are out in the open, and every outburst, every mugshot, every cryptic silent post just cuts the wound deeper. And if you ask why T.I. would allegedly let his own son, King Harris, spiral like this, the answer might be way darker than anybody wants to admit. Raised mostly by his grandmother instead of living full-time with T.I. and Tiny in that massive mansion, that detail flipped the whole family story on its head. To really grasp how it got here, we gotta rewind the tape to the beginning. The hustle, the fame, and how King ended up stuck between a dream life and a broken household. Clifford Joseph Harris Jr., better known as T.I., had hip-hop in a chokehold by the early 2000s. He wasn't just dropping bars, he was building a legacy. Albums like Trap Music, Urban Legend, and King turned him into rap royalty. From topping charts to launching fashion lines, acting in movies, running Grand Hustle, and eventually shining on reality TV with Tiny, he had the blueprint for the American dream in designer clothes. But the truth? That dream came with a price tag no money could cover. When you're chasing legacy, something or someone always ends up sacrificed. And that someone might have been King, born in 2004. From the jump, he was a celebrity baby, caught in the spotlight before he could even walk. Cameras, bright lights, and the pressure of being born into a hip-hop royal family shaped his early years. And when T.I. and Tiny, the family hustle, hit TV screens in 2011, fans thought they were seeing the real deal, a tight, happy, unshakable family unit. But King himself later dropped a bombshell that flipped all that upside down. According to him, the show was straight cap. He claimed T.I. and Tiny would scoop him up from his grandma's house just for filming, then ship him right back once the cameras stopped rolling. That confession had people questioning everything. Why would two mega-rich celebs with every resource in the world not raise their own son full-time? Was it just a case of bad parenting, or was something deeper, something darker, going down behind closed doors? Some folks believe T.I.'s schedule was too packed. Others whisper it was way more than just time management gone wrong. T.I. was everywhere, touring, recording, chasing deals, and stacking his empire. And with a kid like King, loud, opinionated, bold, that takes patience, time, and constant energy. Tiny had her own grind too, juggling motherhood, music, and reality TV fame. So when life got overwhelming, the family leaned on the OG. Grandma, like so many Black households do. She held it down, no question. But as strong as she was, Grandma could never fully replace two locked-in, active parents. And that absence? It might have left scars on King deeper than anybody expected. From day one, King came with big energy. Loud, confident, always ready to take up space. Some folks called it charisma, others called it attitude. Either way, the kid stood out. On TV, he was funny, dropping catchphrases, winning laughs, getting love. But as he got older, that cute energy morphed into something heavier. People started saying he was cocky, rude, even aggressive. This wasn't just teenage antics anymore. It was a shift. Before long, his name was trending for all the wrong reasons. Messy headlines, wild behavior, unfiltered IG lives where he talked reckless, flashing money, bragging about street cred like he had something to prove. One day he's challenging somebody to a boxing match. The next he's snapping on a gas station clerk. And no matter how much backlash came his way, King stood 10 toes down. If anything, his energy only got colder. Some people wrote it off as immaturity, but others saw it for what it was, a kid screaming out for attention. Or maybe, just maybe, a boy trying to impress the very people he felt most disconnected from. And that brings us to the infamous headlock moment. T.I. wrapping his arm around King's neck at a public football game, and the world watching in shock. It wasn't just about a dad disciplining his son, it was a glimpse at how far things had spiraled. King wasn't just acting out anymore. He was spinning out of control, and this time, I couldn't hide it behind closed doors. That headlock wasn't just a grab. It was years of tension, frustration, and unspoken pain exploding in front of everybody's eyes. And then came the arrest, cops finding weed in his car. Fans tried to downplay it like it was nothing, but the timing couldn't have been worse, especially since it happened right after King dropped a music video glorifying guns and street life. Suddenly, folks started asking, is he really living that life, or is he just frontin'? Was this rebellion, or a young man completely lost about who he even is? And the biggest question of all, where were his mama and daddy in the middle of this chaos? To be fair, I didn't stay fully silent. He made a few statements here and there, trying to walk that line between standing by his son and holding him accountable. But you could see it. The man was torn in two. And then came the flood, Leaked pics, messy rumors about King's identity, even whispers questioning who his real daddy might be. Just like that, the Harris brand was dangling by a thread. T.I. built his whole empire on respect, image, and legacy. But this mess? It might have been too risky for him to protect without losing everything he stood for. So what did he do? Some say he pushed King back into Grandma's arms, hoping things would settle down on their own. Maybe he thought it was just temporary, or maybe he figured keeping King away from the mansion would keep the scandal from tainting the family name. But now that distance is a full-on canyon, and the world is watching every crack in real time. King Harris is at a crossroads now. He ain't a little kid anymore. His choices come with real consequences. Whether he flips the script or keeps riding this storm out, only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the spotlight don't play fair anymore. In an age of leaks, screenshots, and non-stop judgment, there's no hiding place left. So the real question is King Harris just another wild young dude making reckless moves? Or is he the product of pressure, neglect, and a public that's been waiting for him to fall since day one? Did T.I. and Tiny wait too long to reel him back in? Or is King just determined to write his own messy story, no matter who it hurts? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this breakdown had you looking at it twice, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to Star T channel.